Okay, we're here today with Jesse, and we're going to discuss the book,
The Invincible Iron Man.
The Invincible Iron Man.
This is the Volume 1 Omnibus, which is actually includes the 5th volume of the Invincible Iron Man book. And this is basically the 5th volume, started in 2008, being written by Matt Fraction and illustrated by Salvador Larocca. And this book contains the first 19 issues of Iron Man.
Okay, you're saying 19 issues. Now, is this in addition to the comic books, or is this something totally different than the comic books?
This is the comic books.
This is the comic books, and they put it in book form. Is that what you're saying?
They put it in hardback cover, larger print.
Okay.
They've taken, the first 19 issues, which includes 2 different story arcs. The first arc is kind of short, but it's very unique to Iron Man. And the second arc is a crossover which involves everyone in the Marvel Universe, an event that's happening throughout all of the Marvel books, including, Spider-Man, Captain America.
Okay.
It affects all of the continuity. The second storyline is actually pretty long, and it doesn't even finish, doesn't conclude in this book. But it's basically the storyline is called Dark Reign, and it involves the villain Norman Osborn becomes a political leader, a military leader, and that's pretty much the 75% of the book.
Okay, now you've finished the entire series.
Yeah, I finished reading the whole book.
Okay, and what is your opinion on it? I mean, are you excited about it? Are you excited about the continuation of the series, or what?
Yeah, well, Iron Man is always going to be in running. It's had an almost 50-year history, but they do things to reinvent it and make it more modern and kind of start the story over again from scratch. They do things to kind of sort of eliminate a lot of the past and start from a blank slate, and that's what they do kind of in this book. The second storyline has it takes big dramatic turns where the character is changed for the following issues. I don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty epic.
Okay, so you were satisfied with the series?
Well, I liked the first story arc. It was kind of short and simple, but dramatic, and it had a good villain to it, and it had a satisfying conclusion. The second story arc went on for way too long, and it was this, scattered, misguided. And, I didn't enjoy it very much because it like I said, it was scattered. It kept jumping from one character to the next. A lot was happening, but a lot wasn't happening, if you understand what I mean. In that respect, it wasn't so great. I much preferred the first storyline.
Okay, what about the illustrations?
The illustrations look very good. Salvador Larocca does all of it, and it looks digitally painted, extremely realistic. The lighting effects, and it looks like something you'd see in a movie. Just you can imagine everything being completely real. He doesn't have a whole lot of style per se. He just kind of makes things really realistic, highly realistic.
Okay, well, now you were talking about the second storyline, about how you weren't really satisfied with it, and it scattered around. What would you have done differently in that story?
Well, a lot of key points in the story just didn't make sense. The villain's motivation, his actions, they didn't coincide. Like, if he really, really wanted to get Iron Man, if he wanted to get him, he would go after him himself, or he would do things more directly. A lot of the things that happened didn't really make sense from that standpoint. It's like he was kind of like beating around the bush and letting him go for some reason. Very unclear.
So,
and,
did you feel it wasn't true to the character of Iron Man?
No, I wouldn't say that. Tony is very good in character throughout the whole book.
Just the storyline itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't really like that storyline. Basically, he becomes a fugitive and he's on the run, and he's doing things to damage his own brain, to wipe out his memory. And so he becomes less like Tony Stark that we're used to. And basically all of his powers are going away. You know, he's not as smart as he was, so he's not able to use the Iron Man equipment. So in that way, it's kind of like a step backwards to get back to origin, so they can rebuild the story from there.
So if you were talking to the writer, what would be your thoughts to tell him that you would like to see in the next book?
Well, there's already many books after this that have been written, so I'm not really sure where the storyline is at right now. But if I was going from this point forward, I think that it would take a lot of work, a lot of effort to get things back on track, because he's gone off on such a tangent. And it's not really his fault. He had to go along with the storyline that Marvel was providing. Marvel was doing this whole crossover event with Norman Osborn, so he kind of had to work that into his plot. But I would definitely have more action, less interruptions.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I guess that's a wrap for today. Okay.
And I just want to give a final review for the book and show you a few previews of some of the artwork. If you want to look at that. Overall, I give it, I give the book an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.